Using the scoreboard, I still don't think Sister Wives Robyn Brown understands the negative effect she had on the OG3. Will she ever take any blame? Sister Wives Robyn Brown referenced that the OG3, Mary, Janelle, and Cristin Brown used a scoreboard during their plural marriage to Kody Brown. And it makes me think Robyn still isn't willing to take any blame for the negative effect she had on them. Kody married Mary, Janelle, and Cristin in the early 90s, and the trio lived in what they thought was happy polygamy until Kody met, courted, and married Robyn in 2010. Robyn became Kody's fourth wife, and I watched her addition to the family throw everything off balance in the years to come. I believe Robyn's negative influence on Kody, the Brown family's dynamic, and her sister wives' trust was the catalyst to the family breaking down. In 2020, Cristin left Kody, and then Janelle left the following year. Mary, who had what I thought was the only genuine friendship with Robyn, stuck it out the longest, but ultimately left in early 2023. Since the OG3 left Kody, there have been a lot of accusations regarding who was responsible for the plural family breaking up, and I feel Robyn had the biggest effect on the OG3's decisions to leave, but won't take blame. While I saw Robyn's addition to the Brown family having potential to be a good thing for the family at first, I quickly realized it was a bag of worms. Robyn initially said she was excited to have sister wives and a community to raise her children from her first marriage, but it became obvious that she really just wanted Kody. Over the next 10 years, Robyn lived in the family, had biological children with Kody, and grew their bond. I felt she intrinsically pulled Kody away from his OG wives. It came as no surprise to me when the wives started exiting the family one by one. The COVID-19 pandemic was the impetus that drove the OG3 away. Kody spent an unfair majority of his time with Robyn and her kids, which I saw effectively as him choosing Robyn. Kody had excuses for the pandemic distance from his other wives, like believing some of his other kids were not following COVID protocol, but I felt Robyn had him in her clutches and neither wanted to separate so he could be with the other wives and maintain those relationships. Since Kody was left with only Robyn, whom he divorced Mary for, this left Kody and Robyn in monogamy. I've watched Robyn cry and carry on about how she doesn't understand how things got so bad and why the family couldn't make things work. And it's led me to believe that she really doesn't get her part in all the poor outcomes and feelings. During the first episode of the second part of Sister Wives, Season 19 that recently premiered, the wives gave their takes during individual interviews on why their relationships didn't work out as sister wives and how the family as a whole crumbled as a result. I found Robyn's opinions on the matter to be very telling, as she said that the other wives used a scoreboard in relation to time spent with Kody. Robyn felt Mary, Janelle, and Cristin kept track of Kody's time and attention, and that was a toxic way of behaving in a plural family. I see Robyn's standpoint as disillusioning because it's easy for her to say that keeping score was not good practice when she was the one taking up the majority of Kody's time. If Robyn really tracked her time spent with Kody versus what he gave the other wives, it would mean she would have to take accountability for not encouraging Kody to split his time fairly. In all the time I've seen Robyn on Sister Wives, I've seen that accountability is not her strong suit. Robyn stated in the second episode of the season that if there are no comparisons, then no one gets jealous. Her notion underscores her lack of understanding of her part in the OG3's resentment towards her and how she played a significant part in making them feel unwanted. The other factor Robyn believes left the family in shambles was so little trust. But I think Robyn fails to realize that she fostered the lack of trust towards her from the other sister wives because she was actively taking her soulmate Kody for herself. If Robyn truly wanted the other wives to trust her, she would not have kissed Kody before marriage, for starters. And I feel like over the next decade, Robyn would have had better conversations with her sister wives to try and understand the things that weren't working and how they felt about her majority time with Kody. While I do believe trust was an issue in the Brown family, I think the mistrust only came once Robyn was around, because the family lived together for more than 10 years before her without insurmountable issues. Let's just say it. If emotional fallout were a competitive sport, the sister wives scoreboard would be lit up like a Vegas marquee, and Robyn Brown would be leading in assists. Though probably not in a way she'd ever admit. From the moment she entered the Brown family dynamic, the ripple effect wasn't just subtle, it was seismic. And over a decade later, as Cristin, Janelle, and Mary, collectively known as the OG3, have either left or emotionally distanced themselves from Kody Brown, it's impossible to ignore the scoreboard glowing in the background. tallying years of neglect, favoritism, and unresolved tension. Yet through it all, Robyn remains bewildered. "I just don't understand what happened," she said on camera, lip quivering, eyes glossing over like a soap opera ingenue. "But here's the thing, we do. We understand, and we've been keeping score." Robyn's arrival in Season 1 was framed as a romantic revelation, Cody all but levitating off the ground at the sight of her. Meanwhile, the original trio of wives, who had spent years building a fragile foundation, were left blinking in the dust. Cristin was heavily pregnant when Robyn came around, and instead of support, she got Cody fawning over his new flame like a teenage boy at prom. That moment was etched into the show's timeline like a chisel to stone. And it was just the beginning. There's a difference between joining a family and colonizing it. Robyn didn't just join the Browns, she altered the chemistry. She brought in her own rules, her own boundaries, and even her own nanny. Oh yes, the infamous "who is watching the kids?" nanny. It became clear early on that Robyn wasn't here to blend into the family system. She was here to carve out her own subsection of it, protected and elevated. Now, to be fair, it's not Robyn's fault that Cody fell head over heels for her. Love happens and emotions aren't always something we can legislate. But what is on Robyn is how she wielded that love. Rather than using her position to bridge gaps between Cody and the other wives, she often seemed to widen them. Her close emotional monopoly on Cody meant less of him for everyone else, not just physically, but mentally and spiritually. The scoreboard doesn't lie. Let's look at the highlights. Cristin. After years of feeling like a basement-dwelling afterthought, she finally chose herself and left. When she voiced her pain, Robyn reacted as though Cristin were abandoning the family out of nowhere, not walking away from years of loneliness. Janelle. Known for her independence and pragmatism, Janelle tried to hold the family together. But even she couldn't ignore the gravitational pull between Robyn and Cody. By the time she and Cody had their explosive holiday season clash, it was clear that Janelle, too, had reached her limit. Mary. Perhaps the most tragic tale, Mary stayed loyal far past the expiration date of her emotional fulfillment. Her catfishing scandal was a symptom, not the disease. Still, Robyn often played both sides, comforting Mary just enough to maintain an image of solidarity, while ultimately reinforcing her own VIP status with Cody. Yet through all this, Robyn continues to act like she's playing a different game entirely, where empathy is enough and accountability is optional. Her tears flow easily, but they rarely come with introspection. "I just wanted a family," she'll say, as though her mere intentions absolve her from the tangible outcomes. Here's where the scoreboard metaphor really hits home. Intentions don't win the game. Impact does. And the impact has been glaring. Instead of being a team player, Robyn often played defense, guarding her unit, setting up boundaries, and insulating her children from the mess that was unraveling all around her. While the other wives struggled to keep connection alive, Robyn's branch of the family thrived in isolation, complete with Cody's undivided attention and a house of her own design. The dream life, the prize. And yet, she still doesn't get why the other women might feel a little hurt. There have been opportunities for self-awareness. Countless couch interviews, family meetings, and quiet moments where Robyn could have said, "I see how my relationship with Cody changed things. I'm sorry for how it affected all of you." But instead, we get deflections, spiritual platitudes, and puzzled glances. There's a kind of selective amnesia at play where only her side of the story has clarity and purpose, and everyone else is just a supporting character with mood swings. So, will she ever take any blame? It's hard to say. Growth requires confrontation, not with others, but with oneself. It demands that you pull up your own replays and ask, what could I have done differently? Robyn's love story might be one for the books, but so is her lack of reckoning with the damage in its wake.